What is going on, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another episode of the Kingdom Says. I am your host, as always, Garrett Williams. Tonight, I've got just one of my usual co-hosts with me, Mr. Kyle Henning. How we doing, Kyle?
Doing well. It's now Wednesday, so I can't say Victory Tuesday because we already did that yesterday. But no, good. Another comfortable ass whooping. I know the first half was a little wonky, goofy. I knew it was going to be a little weird. Anytime Marcus Mariota's in the damn building, it's always a little weird.
Yeah.
But another enjoyable, fairly stress-free day at the office for the fellas. So. And saw a little different version of what they did against the Raiders. It was a little different. It wasn't. So we'll get into a little bit of that. But good day. Even better day. We've got some news to discuss from today that we got. A player that I still don't know why the hell he wasn't on the team for the first 7 weeks of the season before this, or 8 weeks of the season before this. But hey, whatever. So we'll get into all that, and then time to do a little more look ahead at one of the bigger games on the schedule for the year. So good times.
Yeah, it was great times right now in Chiefs Kingdom. I'd say it's so much more enjoyable this year. I know that's been kind of the conversation with a lot of people, but I know the record is not going to be better than last year's. Obviously, we've already lost 3 games, but boy, it's just so much more fun to watch. Right? Like it's night and day difference. Like the enjoyment of watching Chiefs football it's there. It's not like having to slog through these games and grind out a stupid victory at the end. Like we're just beating teams pretty damn good too.
I mean, Patrick and Nick Bolton agree with you. They were both asked about the differences between last year and this year, and Patrick said it's definitely more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when this team is at its best. It's part of one of the things I talked about last year with this team is like it just didn't feel like anybody was having any fun.
No, definitely not. Yeah, there's some brutal parts of last year that just.
And when they're having fun, they're the most dangerous team in the NFL, and they're having a lot of fun.
Very confident in you and your abilities, So they're pulling it all out. So yeah, this Commanders game, Monday Night Football, like you said, Marcus Mariota coming into town. Wasn't a lot of expectations. Me and Tom, we did not have a lot of expectations in the pregame show of this. We thought it would be a pretty decided. We thought it would be a little bit closer actually, but we thought it would be a pretty simple game, and it ended up being pretty simple. Shout out to the Commanders for having a pretty good effort there, and they definitely came in with a pretty good game plan of how they could necessarily use Marcus Mariota and some of their other weapons in a little bit more strategic ways. A lot of quick checkdowns or screens or just. I know they ran a lot of RPOs and just overall quarterback carries with Mariota. So they tried their best. They definitely had to figure out some creative solution to get by this Spags defense because, they're making even the best of offenses look silly right now. So if you're coming in without your starter and your 2 wide receivers haven't even played very much this year with together and into offense, you have to get a little creative. And it started out okay for them. As always, the first 15 is kind of the bar where it's like, all right, the Chiefs defense has to figure it out. And then after the first 15, we're usually okay. Usually it kind of ends up pretty good. And so, the Commanders moving the ball on that first drive, they did well. And throughout the first quarter, they had a little bit of success. And then that was kind of it. That was kind of it.
They moved it well right up until they moved it right off Deebo Samuel's forehead and right into Mike Dana's arms. So
Yeah, interception for Mike Dana, which is crazy. His first, I think, apparently, it's like his first ever interception, ever.
Like he all the way back to high school.
Yeah, like he didn't have any in college, and that was his first one in NFL.
Well,
so
they don't usually get a whole lot of interceptions as a defensive end.
Yeah, no, that's true. But it's cool at least that he got. He also had a sack later in the game, which was.
Yeah, I also think he's tied for the team lead in interceptions at this point. So
he is. Yeah, him and. And the other, who else? Someone else got an interception late, and then everyone was like,
Jack Cochran also
in
the interception category, which may be his only calling card from this year, seeing as how everybody wants him banished to the Shadow Realm for his special teams performances. But Mike Dana is now tied with Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson, Leo Chenal, and I think it's Jaden Hicks. All have one other than our guy Mr. Cochran. It's either Jaden Hicks or Christopher Roland Wallace. I can't remember which one of them it is that has the other one. But
yeah, so I mean, early on, the offenses or at least the offense for the Commanders, they scored the one touchdown, and then it seemed like there was a lot of either turnovers or turnover on downs. They went for it on a couple times on.
Well, I mean, they knew they had to.
Short. Yeah, you have to if you're trying to keep up with the Chiefs' offense and what they could do to you. You kind of have to keep on going. That's
especially when Marcus Mariota is your quarterback. Like, you're only getting so many options. They got the ball inside the Chiefs 40 3 times in that first half, and they came up blank.
Nada.
So it's not great. They did get
tell that their offense was handicapped. Like there was not many down the field throws from Mariota. There's just a lot of, like I said, a lot of checkdowns, a lot of little short things and screens and stuff like that they had to, just try to figure out something. But the problem is that this Chiefs defense is just too smart for a lot of that stuff. And obviously you kind of know going into the game plan, like, yeah, they're probably not going to be passing super heavy. So we can kind of.
Well, they struggle. So here's Washington's problem with this Chiefs defense. They couldn't really block them, which is strange to say about a Chiefs pass rush that's been much maligned for most of the year with how. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, the last couple of weeks, yes, I know it was the Raiders, and yes, I know it's the Commanders, but they were causing problems.
Yeah.
They absolutely eviscerated the running game from Washington, just like they did with the Raiders and like they did with Detroit, and like they've done all year.
Yeah, I saw some stats. So, like we literally hold opposing running backs to like almost half of their average yards every time we play them. Like Jahmyr Gibbs, Saquon, Derrick Henry, doesn't matter. Like Travis Etienne.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Like Cam Scatterbo's the only one that was really above his average, and that was because it was kind of his breakout game, and it's also because they were down. So, I mean, Spags presses the you're not running the ball button, and they stop running the ball.
That's it. Yeah.
But they couldn't really protect Marcus. You also can't ask Marcus to throw the ball downfield. It's never really been his thing.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And it's definitely not now in his more advanced years. Mm-hmm. It's also definitely not when one of your wide receivers' best traits are within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage or behind it in Deebo Samuel. Mm-hmm. And he bounces one off of his teeth right to a defender for an interception on the first drive.
Yeah, that's pretty tough.
And the other one is Terry McLaurin, who both were coming back off of major injuries that had been bugging them for several weeks. And now Terry hurt himself, re-aggravated it again in that game, so he's not going to play this week. So like,
definitely tough. Terry had a decent game.
In a hard place. He had the touchdown catch, which was a nice catch. But you're rocking a hard place. And the other problem is that short passing game stuff is cute when defenses don't tackle well.
Yeah.
But this secondary tackles probably better than anybody in the league.
Definitely.
So when you're trying to run short passing game and quick plays and quick screens, your whole goal is yak. Well, the problem is there's not a lot of yak that this team gives up.
No. There's a lot of instances of DBs making really good plays on the ball. I know Trent had a couple of good ones. Jalen Watson had a really good play. The DBs, like, this just you can't sneak anything by.
Amari Connor made a huge play on Debo on a short throw. Brian Cook is an absolute missile when he's coming downhill to tackle. Jaden Hicks is a problem to get around and deal with. Like,
our linebackers were all playing really good.
I'd say even Nick Bolton only had one instance where he was late getting out to the flat on that third down play and deep in Washington's own end. And yeah, he got beat. He was about a half step late. If he's a half step earlier, he picks that thing. But
probably,
again, like, they don't have. Well, I say that it would have at least hit him in the head. I don't know if he'd have caught it, but it at least would have hit him.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
but they the thing that they were depending on was the Chiefs not being able to deal with the quarterback run, which they let Marcus run some. But if your main offense is Marcus Mariota is going to lead us in rushing, yeah, okay.
Usually not a great
knock yourselves out.
There was a couple early on that he sprung one, and then I think after the second half or after the halftime, they kind of came back out like, all right, this guy obviously doesn't have a lot of tools in his tool bag right now. Like, he's going to be running a lot. Let's uphold those rushing lanes and contain him a little more.
We'll talk about it, but like the adjustments that they made at halftime, that first half was a little helter-skelter. It was a little weird.
Yeah.
It went pick, turnover on downs, pick, turnover on downs.
Yeah, there's so
back
many
and forth
turnovers the
of
first couple
just
drives.
weird,
Yeah,
and like the first Patrick pick was a Hollywood Brown back shoulder that Andy basically told him not so openly in the press conference, we expect you to fight harder for that ball. And
yeah.
then the
He
other one
played
hit
by much
Travis right in
harder
the
one,
freaking
but
hands. And so, like, it was just a weird first half, which, I mean, as soon as I saw the ball hit Debo in the face and Mike Dana intercepted, I sent it to the group and I also posted it, like, well, hope you guys are ready because it's going to be at least a weird one for a little while. And it
yeah, no.
was.
Early on, I was getting a little doom and
But
gloom for just a little while. I was just
the
like, oh my
defense,
gosh,
the
this is gonna be a
defense
grind.
has given up a total of 24 points in 12 quarters.
That's pretty good. I think that's pretty good.
Um, they are playing at an excellent level. They are one of the only defenses that I think is top 5 in like every major category for defenses, and they're at top. They're 2, 3. I don't think they're 1 in any of them, but they're like 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 4, 3. It's like good luck.
Yeah,
And
no,
and now with the news from today, they're getting deeper at positions of weakness. So it's you're just watching this defense start to build, which they do every year, and we panic every year in like the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season, and then by November, all of a sudden the defense is like, "Huh, good luck." And
yeah.
so,
Spags always gets those boys right. You know, he's always gonna get them in a good
but
spot, and just
the
they're
main
so
focus of
intelligent.
this game for me was them destroying was destroying Ja'Cory Crosby Merritt, Bill Merritt,
Bill,
and
yeah.
he had nothing.
Oh
They
yeah,
gave
I figured he'd have
him
nothing. I
nothing.
mean, no offense to Bill, but we've stopped a lot better running backs and held them to a lot less yards. So I did, that was the thing with Washington and going into this game. It's like their run game was okay, but okay isn't
They
going to
had
cut it
20
versus this team.
carries. They had 20 carries for 60 yards, and 8 carries and 28 of the yards were the quarterback.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
That wasn't a
Ja'Cory had, or
wasn't
Jeremy.
intimidated by their run
Good
game.
Lord, I can't talk. Ja'Cory Crosby Merritt had 25 yards on 9 carries. McNichols had 1 carry. Rodriguez had 1 carry, and Debo had 1 carry for 4 yards, 2 yards, and a yard.
Yep, that's the
If
story.
you
That
can't
was the
run the
story of the
ball
defense
at
this year.
all, and your leading wide receivers are Jeremy McNichols and then Luke McCaffrey, other than Terry McLaurin, who didn't get involved until the second half,
Yeah,
it's
Luke McCaffrey
gonna.
was kind of eating. He was
He
kind of
had
eating a little bit there.
he
Yeah,
had 3 catches for 24 yards.
he was kind of eating though. I'm saying he was kind of eating. I mean,
Most of it, most
not
of it
like ED
early,
kind of eating, but
most of it early, and most of it on that first drive.
yeah.
And
Then they kind of
one of
lost the script on him. They were like, okay, we don't know what to do with this guy anymore. We had the first 15 planned out for him, and that's about it. So,
I mean, he
but
had 17 of his 24 yards on 1 catch.
yeah, see, that was that one catch was like, ooh,
So
there you go. Okay, Luke.
so they eliminated entirely the running game portion of the playbook unless your name was Marcus Mariota, and if your quarterback's going to run all night, that's a long night for you.
Yeah,
It
no,
just
the
is.
defense. We
So
knew. I think they knew what to expect going into that, and knowing what the Commanders' offense would probably look like, and they rolled out accordingly. The snap counts. People weren't as super happy. Noel Williams still not getting a lot of snaps out there. Just seems like the rotation they probably just kind of went with more linebackers. Obviously,
I was going to
I feel
say
like a lot
this.
more base personnel was played just because
Yeah.
that's the only thing they could have done is run the ball. So
Washington dictated that they played 3 linebackers more than they played 3 corners.
yeah,
And when that happens, you're not going to see as much of Noel Williams because
you
you
don't
have
have
Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson. So
yeah, you don't have that many like receiving threats over there. I mean, they have Debo and Terry, and that's kind of it. So it's not like you can really not like you really need to worry about like a big vertical passing offense that you're going against.
but
Like it's a lot
I
more
mean,
ground and pound.
they had 260 total yards and 14 first downs. Like that's what they got. And you're like I said, your leading wide receiver was a running back, and
Yeah,
24 of his yards came on the one play that I was talking about to Nick Bolton, deep in their own end when he got picked off in the mesh trying to get out there, and the rest of it was a bunch of nothing. 2 longer catches to the 2 tight ends, Bates and Sanat. I mean, they held Zach Ertz to 16 yards on 4 catches. Debo had 3
yeah,
catches for 11 yards. So there was not a lot of space and room for them to do much of anything in the passing game.
Mm-hmm.
and they just completely control. Like this Chief defense can control teams offensively. If it's much like what Bill and the Patriots used to do, which is, what do you do well? Okay, you're not doing that this game. Do whatever you don't do well. We're going to make you play left-handed, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they did. So they went out, dominating performance, went after it. I don't remember how many did we have? How many? We got what? Couple sacks. Dana had one. Karloftis had one. So Karloftis got Mariota by a shoestring
Yeah.
after beating his guy around the edge, and
Yeah.
they should have had about 4 more, but somehow Mariota
Yeah.
weaseled his way out
He's
of it.
a slippery guy, just could not finish on some of those plays. But the pressure and just obviously getting him uncomfortable back there, not really letting. Yeah, overall, I mean, the defense, like, even though the only 2 sacks, like, it seemed like the pressure was a lot higher, and they kind of controlled the line of scrimmage a lot better than they have in previous weeks, which is a big benefit when you're trying to contain a quarterback and make him uncomfortable back there and make him have to adjust more. And, Mark is it's different. If you're going against Jaden Daniels, that's different than if you're going against Marcus Mariota. So, good on their offense, but this defense is they're rolling too hard right now. That unless you're an elite offense, that's going to be tough to have a lot of success against this Spags defense. So let's transition over to the other side of the ball, which was also very fun.
That elite Lions offense scored 17 points.
Yeah, that's true.
I would like everybody to remember that Lions game. The portion of the team that was hurt was not the offense.
No, it was defense. Yeah, and they still even. I mean, that was one of
the. And then they turned around and beat the Bucs the next week. So
yeah,
Lamar wasn't hurt until after the game was already in hand and over against Baltimore. They scored 20 points. Mm-hmm. The Eagles scored 20 points. The Chargers scored. The highest scoring team against the Chiefs this year was the Jaguars, and 7 of those came from a pick 6.
Mm-hmm.
And that was 31. So, like, they've really not given up more than 27 all year on as far as the defense is concerned. And that's against some really good offenses. And then some really bad offenses have scored basically no points, which is how that works.
Yeah. Exactly what you want the defense
It's going to be interesting, but they are not a concern for me. Do they have things they could be better at that we would like to see cleaned up, that we would like to see a little bit more out of in certain areas? Yeah, of course. Should we do our news for the defensive side now, since we're going to do that, since we're going to be going to the offense next?
Might as well. Yeah, we'll just break that. And Mike Pennell, released by the Bengals yesterday, and basically the same day they were like, yep, he's coming back to KC. And that was confirmed. Chris Jones in a press conference a week or 2 ago basically came out and said, like, hey, just bring him back. Bring back Mike. And then as soon as Chris Jones said something like that, obviously the report comes out that Mike Pennell basically asked for his release from the Bengals. They had some kind of like settlement cut injury waiver thing that our guy Charles Goldman kind of explained it a little bit better if you don't follow Charles Goldman. About something basically whatever the injury or release designation they gave him says that he basically asked for his release. So I think there was a desire from both sides to get back. After, like I alluded to earlier, it's kind of strange that he didn't make the 53-man roster at the beginning of the year. That was kind of a one that we were questioning a lot, kind of swapping him out for Derek Nottie for no reason, and Derek Nottie hasn't really been playing that good. But hey,
I think there may have been some silliness and some stubbornness from both sides in that initial part of that conversation. But to your point about Charles, he said Pennell was released with a non-injury settlement, which is a designation that you typically see when a player requests their release and are still owed guaranteed money, but the team doesn't want to pay the full amount owed. Well, we know the Bengals are cheap as hell, so we know they don't want to pay anything they don't have to.
Yeah.
But this translates out to Chris had been talking to Mike, I'm sure, because they always have been, because they're like brothers and they're friends.
Chris and him,
and when Chris said what he did in his press conference, that was Chris telling Brett and co, hey, he's going to be available soon. We should probably make sure we are the ones to collect him back to this roster.
Well, I think what really happened is more of like it's similar to that, but I'm sure Mike probably told Chris, hey, I'd come back. And then Chris said, hey, Beach, he'll come back. Hey. And then Beach tells Chris, hey, we'll bring him back. And then Chris tells Mike, hey, they'll bring it back. And then Mike then
told Bengals, I want to go
Yeah,
home.
why? Yeah, exactly. So it was good. It's good that, like I said, time heals all wounds. And if you're following the stats of signing Mike Pennell during the middle of the season, we're 2 for 2 winning Super Bowls the years that we sign him during the middle of the season. So
That is
just saying,
correct.
just saying. So that's just something to think about. But either way, with the obviously losing Omar Norman Lott after last week, you need more defensive line help anyways, and he's a guy that you could plug in immediately and is really good. I mean, he was still pretty good when he was on the Bengals for this first half of the season. Like he was one of the
I
bright
mean,
spots of that D line of theirs. So good to have
no
him back.
offense to Derek Nottie, he's a pure upgrade over Derek
Oh,
Nottie on
huge,
the
yeah,
inside.
huge upgrade. It's
And
yeah,
you're limited on tackles. You need somebody that you can put in there with Chris, where Chris doesn't have to do it all by himself or
mhm.
mostly by himself on the inside. And look, it's simple. He's not gonna break the bank. He's cheap. It's easy.
Yeah,
Get it done. Get him home. He knows the system well enough. Good God, how many times has he been here now?
yeah,
So, and
exactly.
he was
Same thing. He
supposed to
knows it.
be your starter. The way you treated it all of training camp, it's still baffling that we ended up
Yeah,
where we ended up. But he's back, and
he's
now
back.
the defense just got better. So,
Exactly. So that's big ups for the defense. Looking good for next week. Switching over to the offensive side of the ball of the Chiefs, Chiefs Commanders game for the Chiefs. It was another pretty good showing. Another pretty good showing. Like we said, the first half, not that great, right? A couple dumb interceptions by Pat. Um, not really his
just
fault
some
on a
weird
couple of them,
stuff.
but yeah, just weird things that typically happen last year, especially in some of these games where it's like, all right, you could tell pretty early on that like this is going to be a grind of a game. It's going to be a lot of tomfoolery. Still didn't think we'd ever lose it, but
And
I just figured
and
that
then
it
it
would be
wasn't.
a lot more hectic, a lot more, even more weird than what it ended up being. But um, the
Last
great
year it
thing
would have
about the
been.
Chiefs, yeah, the great thing about the Chiefs this year is that they're not like last year's Chiefs. All of a sudden, they just go into halftime and they figure it out, and
Well, they have a lot
they
more.
they
Okay,
sure figured it out.
so here's the difference between this year's team and last year's team. They have a lot more weapons at their disposal.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
that makes it easier, and the
for
offensive
for
line
whoever's
playing way better.
yeah, that's one of the weapons because that's
Yeah,
a weapon when Patrick has time. If Patrick has time, you're done. It's over.
that's the biggest
There,
thing. That's the
there's
biggest thing to make the
nothing
offense
you're
flow.
there's nothing you're going to do to stop him if he has 4, 5, 6, or
Yeah,
if
I
he
saw a
can.
stat where
If he
like
has,
he has like the highest time to throw in his career or something like that. Like how much time
he's
he has, and it's
well,
working out.
he's leading the league. He's leading the league in throws outside of the pocket,
Hmm.
yards produced out of it, completion percent, all that. He's number one in the league, and when he has 3.5 seconds to stand around in the pocket, and then he can manipulate the pocket and dance around in it, and then skirt out to the side.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you got a linebacker having to decide if he's going to stay in coverage or let Patrick run for 12 yards, like they watched him do all of the beginning part of the season.
Oh yeah.
It puts you in absolutely. I mean, you're picking your poison. You're dead
Yeah.
either way.
And they got him a couple times. They had on the pass to Kareem Hunt on the goal line. Pat
The
scrambles
Gutty.
out right, and then everyone's like, "Oh, he's definitely gonna run this in." So all the defenders
Oh,
just start
Kareem.
going towards him, and then it's just wide open for Kareem for a
Yeah.
touchdown.
The
Earlier on,
throw
he
the
had
Chiefs
another one.
posted earlier. They posted earlier on their socials where he does a little circle in the pocket, then ends up out left after he hops over the defender that's behind him because he has eyes in the back of his
Right.
head while the
Yeah.
guy was trying to trip him. Squares his body up and throws it across because the linebacker, I think was Bobby Wagner, pushed up to him.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if it was Noah or Travis or which one of them it was, but was just kind of standing there like, oh, that's mine. Thank
That was
you.
the one
First
where
down.
he basically toe dragged the line of scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone's
Because
like,
once again,
everyone's like, he can
that
definitely see the
skit,
line of scrimmage line. He can see the red line.
it's the skit from Gridiron when they're talking about him and Lamar. They can see, you guys can't see the line on the field.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that
legitimately.
was a perfect encapsulation of that right there. So
So,
yeah, the confidence of the offense, and then
but they have so many
this,
more weapons, man.
yeah,
They have
oh
so
yeah,
many more options. So what I was getting at with that was that first interception. Like I said, Andy said some stuff today in the press conference that was maybe a little bit of a private message in public to Hollywood about making sure that he was fighting back for that ball maybe a little harder than he did.
Yeah, he didn't get any
And
targets, I
then
don't think, after
he
that.
didn't
So
get a single target after that. That was
no.
the only target he had for the whole game. So when that happens, then they go, oh, by the way, we still have Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce, Noah Gray, Xavier Worthy, and Travis had 99 yards.
Yeah, Travis balled out. It was a good day for
One of the
Travis, I'll
most
tell you what.
hilarious plays you'll ever see when he helps block and puts his guy on the ground, and then you see him look downfield and go, huh,
Wait,
everybody's covered.
he still has the ball. Wait, Pat, this show to me. I mean, I'm right. I'm eligible. You can just, and he's just wide open. Yeah,
And the NFL released a mic'd up where Pat was like, I was looking at Travis and saying, go, go.
yeah. One of his teammates said, "It looks like you're going
So
23 an
that
hour,
was
kilometers."
Mr. Bob Tanyan that
Yeah,
was giving him a little bit of grief on the sideline with his
yeah. Just with those
speed
mic
button
clips
because
alone, you can just tell how much
he
more
hit the
fun they're
speed
having.
wobble.
Yeah,
He
it
thought
looks.
about a juke at top speed and hit the speed wobble and fell down a little bit. It's
I'm pretty
fine.
sure Mitch Holtis hit him with the rumbling, stumbling Travis Kelce going down.
That
But,
was
hey,
Dana and Hughes, but yes,
oh yeah,
that was the Chiefs broadcast that hit him with the 36-year-old rumbling, stumbling Chris Berman. But he had 99 yards and a tutty. You almost knew he was getting a touchdown on National Tight End Weekend. I know the day
had
was
to.
technically
Yeah,
Sunday, but and then
had to.
Rashee had 100 and whatever yards between his 2 carries and his 99 for 93 catches and
Right,
receptions.
including a very awesome Wildcat quarterback play that unfortunately didn't end up scoring. But boy, that was it's
Brother,
not necessarily the most new thing. I mean, Andy's run that a couple of times. Usually, it's Travis who's running that.
if he
And he's doing
hands that ball off to Xavier, Xavier walks into the end zone. Walks.
yeah, that is tough. That's tough.
That now in
Receiver come in and try to
Rasheed's
make that
defense,
read. You know,
he's never handing that ball off. There is not a skill position player on the planet that is
yeah.
taking
Well, I
that
mean,
direct snap and handing off that zone read.
I'm pretty sure Travis has come out and said multiple times because he's usually the one who's in that spot with the Wildcat and the fake handoff, and I'm pretty sure he's come out multiple times and said, "I'm not handing it off. I'm trying to take it myself." You know, like this, like I get
That's every non-quarterback in the league.
Everyone
That's
is gonna be
all
like,
of them.
I'll do it myself. You know, and to Rashee
And he almost did.
there. Yeah, that was a cool one. Just the little wrinkles that we continue to see.
That dude out of the backfield is terrifying.
There's a couple. There's a couple
very
snaps
large
Rashee in the backfield. I think he had 4 or 5 snaps that they put him in the backfield. And it's cool, creative strategy. You know, get him kind of mismatched with a linebacker who might be covering the running back spot and have him still be able to work around in the middle of the field while you have Xavier Worthy and Taekwon and Hollywood on the outside, and you can just still have Rashee in the middle. And then
if you have Rashee in the backfield and Xavier Worthy in motion, good luck.
Yeah, that's tough. That is tough. You don't know.
What are you doing with that?
Blender. Yeah.
I mean, what do you as a defense? It ruins all your rules. Think about, and maybe this is a little too in the weeds for some of the folks that watch us, but defensive rules are very stringent in a lot of areas. For example, if you guys think back to the corn dog play with Andy Reid, when against the Eagles, they used the defense's rules on motion against them to run that because they were rocking and rolling that safety across the top whenever anybody went in motion. So they ran the half motion, and all of a sudden, Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore are just standing there all by themselves, and now those two guys have
3 touchdowns in the next Super Bowl just because of that.
Those guys have Super Bowl touchdowns because Andy Reid put the defensive rules in an absolute
that is crazy to
shredder.
Think back at that, huh? To Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore.
Touchdowns because Andy Reid took the defensive rules for the other opposing defense and stuck it in a paper shredder.
That's legendary stuff. That's pretty legendary.
So when you stick Rashee Rice next to Pat as a running back and send Xavier Worthy in motion, now you got safeties and linebackers trying to communicate on what they're going to do because you still have other receivers and a tight end you got to cover. And, that tight end's a Hall of Famer as soon as he retires and is eligible.
I really like the wrinkle of putting Rashee Rice back, especially because in the past, like the first play of the season where they had Xavier Worthy in the backfield instead, like no offense to Zay, obviously Zay is my favorite.
I don't think you're handing the ball off up the middle.
I prefer if you're gonna have someone to run a little fake, wide receiver run play, I'd prefer Rasheed. I think he's a little bit stronger. He can probably
bigger,
break tackles. Yeah, bigger. Like that's probably a better matchup.
I mean, if you're gonna run between the tackles, Rasheed can run between the tackles.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to just
really
turn around or just stand there and hand him a dive play, he'll be fine.
Yeah, so I think we'll continue to see a lot of that throughout the rest of the year. Maybe some more Wildcat looks in that instance or something like that. Because but unfortunately, I don't think Kelsey's going to be getting much more of those kind of Wildcat looks. So if we're transitioning to that being Rasheed, then I'm cool with it. I'm cool.
Well, with it. Did you get a chance to read Jesse Newell's article? I got to give Jesse credit. It was a great article.
Between Travis and Rasheed. Yeah, I didn't see it, but I saw it, but I didn't read it. Yeah.
So Travis went into the locker room at halftime and said, "You got to get us going."
Mm-hmm.
That talking to Rasheed, and that's usually Travis's job.
Yeah,
and that's a little bit of the example of, hey, the torch has been passed.
Right? I think after he came out, had 7 for 70 in the second half or something like that. Yeah.
Yes, he did. He did a ton of damage in the second half, and Rasheed is, and if you Chris Sims talked about it on his show with, I think Flo was with him this time. I wasn't listening to Mike. I was listening to Chris. But he said that the people inside the Chiefs building had told him, "Hey, don't judge the offense until the big dog gets back." The big dog in that instance is Rashee Rice.
That was basically every report from the inside, Nate Taylor and many people basically were that was when wide receiver was kind of in the trade rumors. Everyone who was kind of insiders who know, they were just chill. All right, we have because the Chiefs definitely view him as at least a top 10 receiver, maybe even a top 5 receiver.
He's a WR1, and there's no question.
There's no trade acquisition you can make that'd be more worth it than just having Rashee Rice back. So.
And
it's huge that he's back.
When that guy there was another play in this game, and he talked about it in the post-game press conference where he literally ran himself into Patrick's vision to get the ball.
Yeah,
that's not his route. That's not where he was supposed to be.
He saw what was happening on that route. Yeah.
So that's the point that I was trying to highlight there is, look, Travis is still Travis. And they still have their own connection, but that connection is now shared similarly with Rashee Rice.
The chemistry and all that.
Rashee understands this offense at another level. He's trusted to do whatever he really needs to do to get open, and Patrick trusts him to do so. We saw it with the back shoulder fade that he threw on the touchdown in the first game that he was back.
Beautiful.
We saw it multiple times with now they're letting him run the Wildcat. Now they're letting him sprint across the field on a route that's not anywhere close to where he was supposed to be to get the ball, just so he could get in front of Patrick's eyesight to get the ball.
That's perfect. It's good to see that he's kind of taking that next step, and really, that's the whole thing that Travis Kelce ate on for years, just knowing what the defense is doing and knowing, hey, I know I just ran a little curl route on the right side, but I can just kind of sneak on over here and pass over Pat's vision, and all of a sudden,
and knowing what Pat's going to do. That's the other part that not all of these other guys necessarily have yet. Xavier's getting better. It's still going to take more time.
Everyone's figuring it out, but Rasheed's been there long enough that he knows.
He gets it,
and
they can exploit it. And he's a matchup problem as it is. If they're telepathic in their connection, Mike Travis and him have been, it's lights for a defense. Yeah. There's not a lot you can do. Because now, like I said, they have too many weapons. Because if they are focusing on Rasheed, why is Juju Smith-Schuster with no one within 17 yards of him on third down?
Juju's still getting some good looks.
It's really easy to eat when there's not anybody within a zip code of you on the football field.
Yeah, they completely forgot about Juju for a couple of those plays. And he's like, I'll just keep on eating. Yeah.
Juju's like, nobody?
He's like, I'm only 29, guys. Come on. Come on.
Pat. Yeah. Pat, I'm here. Thanks, buddy. Yeah. I'll go this way now.
Yeah, the compliment of receivers that's unlimited.
And they went in at half, and I know they were frustrated with the way that things had transpired in the first half. They weren't happy about all the goofy, weird nonsense that took place. And then they came out and they were like, oh, yeah, we can also run the ball
Mm-hmm.
because our offensive line, even with 2 backups technically, is blowing people. There were holes so wide out there, you and I could have got a yard.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, there are some instances where you look at, like, especially with Kingsley and Creed,
yeah, that's a good little combo
they're
right there.
creating truck-sized gaps for these guys to run through, and it just opens the whole thing up. And
Yeah,
it's
the
and they
offensive
went.
line. They need the offensive line needs some appreciation. Some like they've been so much more successful. Like I said, even with 2 backups. I mean, Caliendo didn't have the greatest game ever, so I'm be happy to have
He
Trey
had a
Smith
bad
back.
quarter.
Yeah, yeah, he
I
had a
don't
bad
even
quarter. Yeah.
the rest of the game after that first quarter. Jalen Moore got twice. He got once, and
Yeah, that
then it
Jacob
was
Martin
fine.
fellow from the Commanders, he was putting some work in. I just shout out to him because I was not familiar with his game.
I
But
don't think Jalen Moore was familiar with his game, which is
yeah,
why Jalen got
I don't think
caught.
anyone predicted he. I didn't even know Jacob Martin was an edge rusher. I thought he was a linebacker, but
I
hey,
didn't know he had that kind of power, which
yeah,
I
he
think
was.
is probably
Yeah,
what caught Jalen Moore off guard. Jalen Moore was like, "What is
yeah.
that?
Jalen Moore,
What are
I'm
you
still very
doing?"
fine with the play of him. He's still been pretty solid, pretty
So
consistent. But
they went in.
Caliendo is not as I'm not as high on. I'm happy to have Trey back. I am happy to have Trey back. Kingsley doing really
Mike
good
is
still. Creed
Mike is
playing
an
really good.
excellent backup. He's
He's
a
good. Yeah, he's an
fine
all right
fill
backup.
in. You can
Yeah,
use him. You can if he has to come in during a game and spell and cover because somebody went down and play maybe 1 more game or 2 more games. He's fine. You can't have him play 5-6 games in a row
no,
because
yeah,
then he gets in trouble.
it'll be
But
good to have Creed back for
or if
sure,
he gets
or Trey
if he
back.
gets with an elite guy who's just going to eat his lunch. That's not, but that happens anywhere. So having Trey back is great. But, and like I said, Jalen Moore, after he figured out, oh, wait, this dude actually has a power move, it disappeared. You didn't see it really become an issue again the rest of the night. And that's what you need from that, especially when you got 2 of your backups or not your starters in, if you don't want to call them backups, because Andy and them don't treat that offensive line group as starters and backups. They just have them kind of in order, 1 through whatever, and they expect them all to be able to play at similar levels. But they were blowing that Washington defensive line off the ball.
No, yeah, they were controlling the line of scrimmage pretty good. Like that's you just draw back to the fact that that's how a successful offense rolls. Like if you give Pat time and you give the running backs holes that they can hit, because Pacheco had another pretty good game, but we all know his vision isn't the greatest. So if you're giving him bigger holes to hit,
It's gotten better.
it has gotten better. Yeah, no, he's been improving with how the offensive line playing, and he's taking the next step. Now, unfortunately, he went out with that game with a late knee injury, so that's kind of tough. He'll probably miss this next week, unfortunately. But luckily, it's nothing.
That knee injury gave me heartburn.
Like it didn't seem that bad when I was looking at it. I mean, he was able to limp off pretty good. He did get a helmet pretty squarely.
That's because that dude's tough as nails, not because that didn't hurt.
No, I mean
the way that knee bent,
the way that knee bent, actual a lot of damage.
I was
just a little MCL sprain is what it was reported. So he'll be week to week of making sure he's healthy and good enough to go back.
Yes,
so.
His foot was planted, and the helmet hit him on the outside of the knee and hyperflexed that thing in. And when that happens,
but his foot didn't stick in the ground. It was planted, but it didn't stick.
Probably what saved him from severe structural damage, because that's the kind of one where running backs lose ACLs and MCLs and PCLs, and that's where that could. I'm very happy he got up. I didn't know how quickly he was getting up at first. He got up. He was ready to go back, and they're like, "No."
I'm not worried about Pacheco. I'm not. I think he'll be.
They ran for
pretty good. And then you also have. I mean,
they
Kareem
ran
Hunt,
for
the best short yardage back in the NFL right now. Like he's still been eating, and then mixed in a little bit of Brashard Smith carries. They didn't throw him the ball at all, I don't think. But they gave him a couple little carries, just something to get the ball rolling. But ultimately, I mean, the main thing of the offense was like, we're just going to keep passing. Like, we're just going to keep on eating. Pat had 299 yards or 280?
It's 299 yards.
Yeah, 299. Yeah, so, I mean, it was a good day for the offense of through the air and then complementing the stuff on the ground, which was pretty good.
They ran for over 100 yards without Patrick and Rasheed.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, offensive. That's like I said. All starts the offensive line. Also, gotta give credit to Jawan Taylor. We haven't said his name the past couple weeks, which is a good thing. Technically he had a penalty this game, but it got negated because of a defensive holding. But overall, I mean, he's cleaned up a lot of his act, and like we mostly Kyle has been saying, when he's not getting penalties, he's a pretty good guard or a pretty good tackle. Like he's one of the top
He's
ones
above
in the league.
average.
Yeah, like it's
At minimum, he's
once he
above
limits all
average.
those little dumb mistakes, then like he's really good. So this is the perfect time of him, and there's probably less pressure on him now. You might think coming into this year with having a different offensive line around him, and everyone just seemed to kind of up their performance a little bit. I think he can kind of just naturally, just kind of adjust to the rest of the team, and as long as he's fixing and keeping those penalties away, like he's fine. He's great. Like it's a great time for everyone to be playing really great right now. So that's the biggest thing on the offense. That makes it so much better when Pat is just sitting back there and it's 2 or 3 seconds. It's like, okay, something's crazy is going to happen. Like some route is going to develop late down the field and he's going to see it and he's going to fire it off platform target just right to the guy. And it usually works out pretty good. A couple big chunks that happened this game they're nice. They're very nice. Good way to get the ball moving. It's just
He
huge
doesn't
chunk plays
have
like that.
when he's got time. It's over.
Yeah, there's just there ain't no competing with a Patrick Mahomes offense that has time and the weapons and the chemistry and the confidence and the fun. Like it's gonna be hard to stop. It's gonna be hard to stop. So we're gonna see how long we can keep this rolling. I think barring anything crazy, we're gonna be probably rolling for a good while in this kind of configuration of the team. So I'm looking forward to it. Like I said at the top of it, it's been such a fun season so far watching these guys just play with a lot more attitude, play with a lot more confidence, and it's just an enjoyable experience. I wish I was at Arrowhead for Monday night. It seemed like it was a really, really electric experience. Also, shout out to a lot of Commanders fans who came through and were pretty complimentary of Arrowhead. Seems, I mean, everyone is. If you're coming to Arrowhead, we're gonna treat you good. Like that's the Midwest hospitality. Like you're gonna be able to get a plate of barbecue somewhere. Like we're gonna welcome you in, and we're gonna make sure you have a pretty damn good time, even if your team stinks.
It's one of the reasons why. And there's a lot of talk about the stadium stuff. I'd love to see them renovate it and keep it. I don't know if it's feasible. I don't know if it makes fiscal sense, all of those things, but it's one of the few unique and truly historic and legendary experiences of NFL stadiums that still exist.
Yeah.
It's one of it's not like anywhere else pretty much that you're going to go. Lambeau, maybe a little.
Yeah.
And they're different in their own rights. Lambeau's in the middle of a neighborhood
not a lot of tailgating. I don't know how much tailgating. I mean, they probably got a little bit of tailgating, but
they do.
Not Arrowhead level.
But and that's one of the things that Arrowhead does differently than just about anywhere else. That you can put up Arrowhead tailgates against college football tailgates. It's a totally different world. And you're right about the Midwest hospitality aspect. When your fans coming in from another place that's not a Raiders fan or a Broncos fan or a Chargers fan, you're probably going to get
treated somewhat.
The Chargers fans, no one cares.
Yeah.
Because there's like 6 of them, and the Raiders have been so bad for so long that as long as you're not as long as you're not an ass, nobody will treat you like one. But it's a totally different fan experience. It's one of the things that's awesome about the way Kansas City is. The people, the hospitality, the place itself, the environment, and everybody usually has a really good experience when they leave. There's bad apples everywhere. There's stupid stuff that happens everywhere. That is what it is. But generally, on the whole, Arrowhead's is a destination spot for fans from other places to come visit because it's a unique experience and it's cool to watch. If you're on socials, there's a guy who was a DC fan. He did a bunch of stuff on TikTok, and he went to like 7 or 8 barbecue places while he was in town based off of everybody's recommendations on his TikToks. Right. And he figured out that everybody in Kansas City has a favorite spot and a spot they hate, and they like certain things here, they like certain things there. And it was fun to watch him break it down. And be in the stadium and enjoy the people that he met in the stadium and in the tailgates. It's totally different. So if you ever have a chance to go and you've never been, you have to go.
Yeah,
Even if you are a Chiefs fan.
One of the
if
best
you are a Chiefs fan, it's even better because then everybody's family. So
yeah, but one of the best experiences is going to Kansas City and just spend a couple days out there. Get some barbecue, tour around the city, watch a Chiefs game. Like it's a good time. It's definitely a good time, and
they handled everything. Special teams didn't have any glaring issues other than
no
Cochran again.
Yeah, still a lot of the kickoff, man. There's kickoff penalties we cannot shake them. I mean, it doesn't end up mattering.
And the returns that they're giving up. I wish they would figure out the return sled because they seem to give up more yardage on those returns than anybody else really does.
Yeah, they were going with strategy for like one or two games where they were just kicking it through the end zone again, but now we're.
And I don't know how much of it is them trying to do things and test things so that they have things in their bag for the playoffs,
right?
And how much of it is because this is still fairly new. It's still something that they're working out. And with Uncle Dave, you'll see him get better and better at it. I think as they go.
For their credit, they did have one kickoff that Harrison hit.
That's what he was trying to do when he kicked it out of bounds.
It hit the receiver on his hands basically, and he fumbled it, and so that guy ended up getting tackled at the 1. So that's a good spot to start the drive. Is at the 1 yard.
So that's what he was trying to do when he accidentally kicked it out of bounds a couple weeks ago against the Jaguars.
You had to figure out how to do that every time, and it's just still a little bit of a learning curve for Harrison, and I think he'll get it. I think he'll figure it out. He's been also hitting kicks, so that's good. Like hopefully, cross your fingers, like he'll be good, and special teams won't have to be as much of an issue as it has been. Which is, like I said, it's still not even been a huge issue. Like obviously, penalties suck on stuff like that, but the offense has also made like they've had like a dozen 80 plus 90 plus yard drives this year that ended in points. So
there was a drive this game. One of the drives in the second half, which I think they only had like 3.
Not many.
It was not a lot. But one of the drives in the second half, it was a 94-yard drive, but they went 119 yards to score the touchdown because they had penalties. I think both of which were on Rasheed. One of which he was trying to throw the ball to the official.
Hilarious look. And he obviously, you could tell just by his body language after that, and then him going up to Andy afterwards explaining it. Like, I was just trying to throw the ball. The ref had his hand up for the ball. I'm trying to throw in the ball back. I'm not a quarterback. I think one of the commentators said that. Like, he's not a quarterback. Like, I get it, It definitely did look like he was going right to the
You could see in his body language when the dude that he hit in the head with it turned around. He was like, no, bro,
like, no, I'm going for the ball.
Right behind you. He's right behind you.
Like, I was trying to do that. So, outside of a little posturing
that would happen.
Official, then it was pretty all right.
And so they went 119 yards and scored a touchdown. And they have their and Andy Reid's being aggressive, which I didn't know if we'd ever see.
Mm-hmm.
But they've gone for it on their side of the field more times this year than I think they've gone for it on their overall in the last half decade.
It's not even a question now at this point. 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, like they're going for it. Like,
and most of the time, it's hey, Kareem. Forward, forward, ho, onward,
and it works basically every time. Yeah, it's great.
You need a yard? I got 3.
Yeah. Like, even Pacheco, I think, had a 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1 carry that he ended up converting for a couple yards. So it's just everyone's playing better, and that's kind of how it goes sometimes. Is everyone kind of elevates themselves at the same rate, and the bottom, the 53rd man is playing just as good as the first man, type situation where it's just everyone's buying in and everyone's really committed and focused and confident and having a good time. So I know I'm having a good time watching these Chiefs. It's much more enjoyable this year than past couple years. So for sure,
he's had 3 touchdown passes or more in I think it's this was game 3 or game 4, and he hadn't done that since 2021.
Right. Yeah. Pat's setting records this year like no other. Also, we have to mention Travis Kelce tying Priest Holmes' touchdown record for the Chiefs. That was pretty cool. I was wearing a Priest Holmes jersey as he did it, so I thought that was pretty fitting to pass the torch, and I think he'll obviously easily be able to eclipse that. Next couple weeks.
I think they're probably going to try to do that against Buffalo.
That'd be cool.
Which we will talk a whole bunch about Buffalo coming up later in the week.
Yeah, that'll be
Don't
Friday live again. Probably we'll probably go live on Friday and preview the Buffalo game at Buffalo. Obviously, always a big matchup that we're very familiar with that team, and we usually know how it goes when we play them in the regular season and how it goes when we play them in the playoffs. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But that's everything we've got for you tonight or today or whenever you're listening to this. We appreciate everyone for rocking with us as always. Be sure to check us out at Kingdom Says Pod at Facebook, X, and Instagram. Those are the three. Yeah, and it should be a good, enjoyable rest of your week. Hopefully, trade deadline stuff and whatnot's coming up still, so we'll probably touch on that a little bit in next episode and even the episode after the Bills game, because the trade deadline is November 4th. So not a whole lot of movement yet, but who knows?
keep your eyes peeled. I think
The Chiefs have
we
been in the
may
rumor
see
mill a
maybe
couple guys. Yeah, I
maybe
know
we see a reunion of sorts. Maybe
another
we
one. Yeah.
see a jet or two make its way to Kansas City. We'll see.
Yeah. With there's been many reports that the Chiefs are in the market and are interested in some people. So, Brett Veach has never been. Even Clark Hunt was basically like, yeah, Brett Veach is usually pretty aggressive, and he can be aggressive if he wants to. So, kind of greenlit Brett to do some stuff, and he's usually pretty good at it. Unless you trade for a guy that's 6'2", 235 as an edge rusher, then he's just not going to get played. So, got to. Luckily, the edge rushers that are on the market more Spags' style, so I'm sure he'll like him a little more. Hopefully, cross your fingers.
God, I hope so.
So yeah, we'll definitely be.
I mean, if you're Brett, that has to be a conversation, right? You have to walk into Spags' office and be like, "Look, if I trade for this dude, you are going to play him, correct?
Right.
Like, we're not doing this again.
Approval. Like, do you actually want this guy? Am I trading for him for nothing?
We're not doing Josh Uche again, but
it's like
we're not doing that again.
Kid to the store and they just pick up like some random toy. Like, do you really need this? Do you really? We have that exact theme at home already, and you don't play with it.
Am I just going to throw that away in 2 weeks when it's laying on the ground and broken?
We already have
an
undersized guy that you don't play with. Are you sure we need another one? Are you sure you don't want? What if we just got you a big one? What if we just got you a big guy? Doesn't bend, no bend in him. Just a stiff board. I'm sure you'll love him. So, all right. So that's it. We'll definitely keep our ears to the ground on the trade rumor mill and.
Who knows? Maybe we'll have a guest on Friday.
Yeah, that's true.
It's Halloween, so it may be hard. But
it is Halloween. I forgot it is Halloween. Dang, we should dress up. I don't have any costumes. I haven't dressed up for Halloween in a little while. So
I do every year. My mom, shout out moms, it's her favorite holiday. We had the kids party for all of my nieces and nephews and friends' kids and everything last weekend. And we will have the Halloween night party over at the house. I may be broadcasting from the Halloween party. Fair warning. But we will be out and about. I'm sure we'll have a good time. We'll have to maybe see if I can't come up with. I was gonna do what I wore this last weekend, which was the old. If any of you are familiar with the NHL hockey game, there's the create a player, like the be a pro mode type thing. And I wore a bunch of mismatched, like, crazy clothes with hockey gear attached to it. I wore my Garage Beer jersey. Shout out those guys. Nice. If you want to sponsor us, let us know. We will happily work with you.
You love some Garage Beer.
Drink it all the time. It's great.
Drink it all the time.
Good times, everybody. We will see you probably on Friday. Have a good, safe Halloween. Make sure all the kids get all the candy.
Yeah, and maybe adults steal all candy too. Yeah.
Adults steal all the candy.
Steal all the good candy. Yeah, confiscate your kids' candy bag. Let me look in here real quick. What you got in here?
Yeah, let me go through this.
Make sure you don't got anything bad in here. Let me take these out. These are bad. I'm gonna take these out.
Yeah, those could be dangerous. I got to take those from you. So
this is way too unhealthy for you. Yeah, you can't be eating this. Sorry, there's mine now.
But. Everybody enjoy, and we will have a big preview because Buffalo is Buffalo. Just a little preview of my thinking. I don't think we're going to see the same script we've seen in the regular season in years past. This may be a sweep type year.
I'm kind of thinking that as well. I'm kind of on the same wavelength as you are, Kyle. So we'll talk about it more on Friday. Everyone, thank you for tuning in, listen once again, and we will see you guys on the next episode.